All right, good morning and welcome to the KeyBank workshop series titled Time Management. Who doesn't need a little bit of help in time management? We're very fortunate again to have Courtney Spencer. She was with us about 3 months ago and did a fabulous job. So without further ado, Courtney, on to you. For those of you, if you have questions, Courtney says, please use the question and answer at the bottom or the chat function. I will be monitoring those throughout the session and I will interject with Courtney at that time. So please ask away. Courtney, thank you so much for joining us again. Over to you.
Thank you. It's always an honor to speak for you and for all the members and non-members and everybody who came. So I'd like everybody to imagine just for one moment, what would your life be like if you had total control of your calendar? What would it feel like to be earlier on time for everything, to be able to meet your professional and personal goals easily, and have plenty of time to enjoy life? Just imagine for a moment what it would feel like to not always feel like you're a day late and $1 behind. Today, I'm hoping to give you some of those techniques that can help you get to that place. And I can assure you, because I've been on both sides of the coin, you can get there, I promise. So I am going to start sharing my screen. Let's see. And I had it all set up and now, here we go. Okay. So we're going to talk about time management 101. Let me go to larger screen. I am not the technological person, so I apologize for that up front. Can someone remind me how to get the side part off? Is it this way? Yes, it's this way. Okay, wonderful. All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about me because you probably want to know why I feel in any way qualified to tell you about time management. We're going to talk about why we struggle to manage time and how to become a master of your time. Very important. Quickly, a little bit about me. I'm an attorney. I'm a life coach. I'm a speaker. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I wear a lot of hats and I've done a lot of things in my life, started a lot of different opportunities. And I really focus now as a coach on helping people redesign their lives so they can actually do what they're called to do. It's very important. We all have a call on our lives. We're all here for a reason, and only you can do what you're called to do. So it's very important for me to help people get there. I'm also a recovering type A, as you can see that, former workaholic. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story. Just to give you a quick picture, about 6 years ago, I was headed to a birthday party with my sweet daughter. She was so excited. This was a close friend. I was excited because I loved this mom. We went and got the gift. We were going to get there early. I planned out the whole day. It was a 3 o'clock birthday party. And at 10 of 3, I was just down the road. I quickly double checked the address and found out that the party started at 12 and ended at 3. So I had to turn around to my sweet daughter and say, I'm so sorry, we missed this birthday party. And, you know, she had this big smile that turned to tears. I felt like a failure. I was embarrassed. I let down my child. Thankfully, this mother, it was just so full of grace, and the party was at her house, and she took one look at me, gave me a cup of coffee, let my daughter go off and play with her daughter. But I just felt terrible. And I'd like to say that was a unique situation, but it wasn't. My work schedule was fine because I had staff to get me where I needed to be. But my personal life, I just felt like I was running, and just putting out fires all the time. I kept filling my schedule. I said yes to everything. Girl Scout cookies, PTO bake shop, PTO secretary, even though I was running a law practice and raising a child, and I just didn't have time to do it. So I literally was like the picture up here, just running all the time, going absolutely nowhere. And I'd like to say that was a wake-up call, but it wasn't. It took me actually having a health crisis to decide, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to take control of my life and stop living like this. I read every book, took every course. I even hired a professional organizer who, I'm not kidding you, almost quit when she looked at my calendar. And she said to me, Courtney, nobody can do all of that. You are going to have to start cutting. I was on all kinds of boards and volunteering and doing all these pieces, and I felt like everything was important, but I forgot that I'm also important. My family's important. So my purpose today is to help you learn from my mistakes and my successes so you don't have to go through all of the crazy things that I went through to get there. Just important to know, if you're going nowhere, you're always going to hit your target. So if you don't have a plan for your life, if you don't have a plan for your day, if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, and you don't have clear goals, you are going to go nowhere. You're going to find yourself in the same position year after year, making the same choices, the same mistakes over and over again. And over time, that's going to wear on you, and you're going to begin to feel like a failure. And you're not. You're not a failure at all. You're just a person without direction. You want to stop zombie living. Most of us live like zombies. I was in Starbucks the other day, and I'm trying to be very good about not just pulling out my phone wherever I am. So I was standing in Starbucks, and there were people all around us, and there was only one other woman and myself who were not on our phones. Everybody was stuck to their phone. It didn't look like anybody was doing anything super important either. So it's one of those things like do a task, get distracted, do a task, get distracted, and then we're missing out on life, communication, and all those pieces. And we're doing it because it makes us feel better in the moment. You want to learn how to design your own life. That comes down to planning. Sounds really complicated. It's actually very simple, and we're going to do a little bit today. Simon Sinek said it very well. You have to find your why. If you don't know why you are doing what you're doing, it's going to be very, very hard to change. Why do you want to get in shape? Why do you want to get to appointments early? Why do you want to have more time with your family? Why do you want to have more time with your friends? You have to spend time thinking about that if you're going to actually convince your brain that doing the task in front of you is more important than going on social media, or that saying no to that purchase is more important than not having money in your savings, because your brain is kind of hardwired to take the easier path. You have to actually train it to do the harder things and make the harder things more attractive. Very important, your mental chatter. If you say, like I used to, I'm always late for everything, I'm just not an organized person, life is hard, you actually are beginning to convince yourself that all of those things are true. If you say the opposite, even if it's not true, I am an organized person, I am always on time, your brain will actually try to get you to be accurate with that. So it will begin to reshape your thinking. It sounds very elementary, but these things are game changers. When I'm coaching clients, the first thing I do is stop their mental negative self-talk. I always, I never, I should, I can't. And I say to them, like, what would you do if somebody talked to you like you talk to yourself, right? You would never take that from them. You would never find that acceptable. Why do you talk to yourself like that? Why do you put yourself down? Because you're an amazing person, right? Thinking about, I'm a person who's always earlier on time. Things like if you're about to eat a donut, asking yourself, well, what would the healthy me do? If you're about to make a purchase, what would a person who was good with money do? Switching that internal chatter and actually paying attention to it and making it super positive is a game changer. And then finally, another mental technique is instead of saying, oh, I have to exercise today, say just simply, I get to exercise today. And if you just say that to yourself right now, it actually has an immediate, huge impact. It takes the negative charge away from it. So these are just things to start keeping in mind, that we're going to do practical techniques, but there are mental techniques that are very simple that if you implement today, I promise you, you're going to start seeing a huge change in your life and in how you manage your time. So why can't we manage our time? Number one, our schedules are too full, often with things that they shouldn't be full of, right? So our big priorities get shifted to the side to be putting out other people's fires, or to be doing work that really isn't that important, that isn't going to get us to where we want to go, but it feels safe and normal. So we just keep filling our calendars with it. We're afraid of saying no and letting somebody down. We don't actually know how much time something will take. So I used to speak all the time on special education. This is before I became a coach and I was just an attorney. And I used to joke with my staff that I would agree to all these things, these speaking engagements, not thinking, okay, well, I have 5 in April. April's my busiest season. That's the month I shouldn't agree to any speaking engagements. You know what I'm trying to say? So I would just say yes, not thinking, okay, it's not just the 2-hour talk, it's the 4-hour prep, and just not thinking things through. Saying yes to meetings, saying yes to all kinds of things, not really thinking, okay, I'm not going to have enough time to do these things. There's some kind of rush in saying yes, and then you deal with the angst of it later on. We have analysis paralysis. We have too many decisions to make, and we can get to the point where we can't even make basic decisions. That goes along with decision fatigue. Your brain makes so many decisions, even by the time you finish your morning coffee. And if you're faced with decision after decision after decision all day, you get to a point where you actually can't make any more decisions. So simple things like laying out your clothes takes away a decision. What am I going to wear? Planning your breakfast takes away the decision. What am I going to eat? Planning your schedule takes away the decision. Am I going to go to the gym or am I going to sleep in? You plan, you've already made multiple decisions, huge decisions for yourself. So your brain has more energy to actually be doing the things that you need to be doing and you want to be doing. We're afraid of being successful, believe it or not. We're afraid of being a failure. So being busy sort of takes up all your brain space, so you don't actually have to think about anything that you're worried about. Some people feel structure and a schedule is too confining. It's actually the opposite. It's actually the key to freedom. We keep our life in our head and not on paper, which is a problem. We don't have clear goals and priorities. You have to have a target if you're going to go anywhere. And we are focused on what we want to do versus who we want to be. Again, I want to lose 10 pounds. That sounds like something I've said myself multiple times. When I actually lost the 10 pounds, it's because I decided I want to be the type of mother who can run around with my daughter. I want to be here for a very long time on this earth and be healthy and strong and have a strong body. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to become. Simply losing 10 pounds doesn't have a whole lot of engagement in it. Doesn't give you a whole lot of reason for making big change. Okay, today we're going to focus on very specific productivity techniques, but here's a few that I have found work really, really well. Block scheduling we're going to go into, habit stacking. This is the best thing ever. So for example, I had knee surgery in January, and as a result, I have to work out for quite a bit of time every day to get my knee rehab going. I wanted to read 20 minutes a day to my schedule because I haven't been doing a lot of reading that I've been wanting to get to. And I have to exercise in the morning for 20 minutes. I do my leg exercises later. So what I did is I made a decision that I'm going to get on the Peloton for 20 minutes and read. So I'm stacking 2 habits. So I look forward to it because I'm really engaged in what I'm reading and I'm getting a hard physical workout at the same time. So anywhere you can stack your habits, especially if they're congruent, simply making all your calls at 5 o'clock, and drinking your coffee at like 12 o'clock and drinking your coffee at the same time. Something where you pair a task with something that's pleasurable, it's going to help a lot. Also, if you're one who loses your keys, forgets your phone, I don't think anybody does that, but forgets things, actually placing things together in the way that you have habits is important. So if in the morning you get a cup of coffee, right next to your coffee maker, you might want to put your keys, you might want to put your planner, you might want to put your supplements so that okay, when I have my coffee, which I'm going to do automatically, I'm going to do this one other thing. Very good to do it next to your toothbrush or in your bathroom. It could be a note, remember to do this, and right next to your toothbrush, because these are things you do automatically every day. You can stack in something that you forget to do very often, and then it becomes like you sort of associate them with each other and you don't forget. Delegate anything you can to anybody you can. Sometimes it's worth paying, for a little extra to get things taken care of. As simple as if you need dry cleaning done, having them come to your house. Don't waste the time of going there. Instacart or Peapod your groceries. Don't take the time to go to the supermarket. If you have staff, make sure you're using them to the optimal amount of time you can. You should not be doing any tasks that can be done by anybody other than you, especially if you're a business owner. That may mean that you have to hire somebody part-time or per diem. Maybe you go on Fiverr and get a administrative assistant for 5 hours a week, whatever it is, but you find ways to help somebody take the stuff off your plate that they're good at that maybe you're not. Automate. All your bills should be automatic payment. If you get a haircut every 6 weeks, you make that appointment before you leave. The less decisions and things you have to put on your to-do list, the better. Plan. We're going to do a big plan. Vertical planning, we're going to talk about that a little later. Make sure your phone, your electronic calendar has every single thing you need to do in it, every appointment. Never say to yourself, oh, I'll remember to do that, or I do it every week. Put it all in there so you forget nothing. Put alarms in to remind you. I use a paper calendar as a to-do list. It's called a Happy Planner. So you can pop the pages in and out. It's actually pretty cool. I'll show it to you. I'm not endorsing them in any way, but I found for my brain, this really works. So it's just called the Happy Planner. And like I said, the pages and even the inserts can come in and out. So you can just take them out, put them in. You can change your months. I don't use this to follow my schedule because I don't always have it with me. So my phone calendar has every little thing I need to do. But the Happy Planner is where I have my to-do list, my longer term goals, my longer term plans, and I make sure I sit with that every day. You can use anything. You can use a cheapo planner that you get at CVS. It doesn't matter, but just something where you can organize your to-dos and have them front and center. Gamifying is huge. Giving yourself reward systems. I skipped Pomodoro. I don't know why, that's my favorite. Google it, but essentially you can get a timer. You could buy an app, or they're free apps, or you can just set a timer. It's 25 minutes of work, and I'm forgetting, I think it's 5 minutes of rest, or you can do 10 minutes of rest. So you do the 25 minutes of work, an alarm goes off, you stop what you're doing, you do something fun. 25 more minutes of work, you stop what you're doing, 5 minutes of fun. And it gives you something. You're working towards a break instead of thinking I have to work for 4 hours. You're working towards a break, and you can gamify it. Like, oh, if I do 5 Pomodoros today, I'm going to go to Starbucks and get a latte. If I do my 5 Pomodoros this afternoon, then I will be able to get off work a half hour early and go do something fun. So it's like gamifying, like you get to reward yourself. Write it all down. Write down the 3 tasks you have to do every day. I would do that in your paper planner. You can also do it in your calendar, your work calendar, but make sure every day you have those 3 tasks you have to get done. Pretty much every productivity expert talks about that. You could have 25 things you could do in a day, but typically we have about 3 we have to do. We cannot end the day unless we do. And if we don't do them, we're going to have a lot of catch up the next day and a lot of worry when we try to go to sleep. Find your best work zone. What time do you do the best work? And remember the 80-20 rule, that most of us spend 80% of time doing tasks that are not going to move the needle in our life. And we spend only 20% of our time on tasks that are going to move us forward. So you want to start looking at how you're spending your time. I find this is true for just about everything. I think it's called the Pareto principle. 20% of the world makes 80% of the wealth. So be the person, be the 20% who spends 100% of your time doing the work that moves the needle forward, not 80% of the time doing things that are not going to get you where you want to go. Okay, these are just some things to think about. I'm a big fan of Atomic Habits. That's the book I'm reading right now by James Cleary. And he talks about attaching something enjoyable to something you don't really want to do. So like, for example, if you need to check email and you're like, oh, there's going to be something on fire, make the email checking time the time you allow yourself to have the cup of coffee that you want so badly. So you begin to associate checking emails with the warm, yummy taste of coffee. For me, if I have to write a legal brief, which takes 40 hours and it's a lot of work and you need a lot of focus, I actually go to a coffee shop. because I really love coffee shops and briefs are really hard to write. So I'm like, oh, great, I have a brief to write. That's awesome. I get to spend some time in coffee shops. Building a habit loop, choosing a trigger, executing a routine, and doing something rewardable. Say you have to do sales calls at 10, you don't really like them. You just create a system. At 10 o'clock, I turn off my phone, I turn off all my notifications, I do 2 hours of sales calls, and then at 12 o'clock, I have a lunch that I really want, either out with a friend or something yummy. So it's, again, just triggering things in your brain, like instead of going, oh my God, I have all these things I don't want to do, you start saying, oh, wow, I have all these things to look forward to. And at the end of the day, I'm going to feel amazing because I got everything done. And then finally, on the Atomic Habits vein, be very clear if you're going to do something, it's the who, what, when, why, how, and where. So for example, you don't want to say, I'm going to work out this week. You don't even want to say, I'm going to work out 5 days this week. You want to say on Monday through Friday, I will get up at 6 a.m., drive to the gym, work out for 60 minutes because I'm committed to being strong and healthy. And you're going to write that down. So in your planner, you have your to-do list. You also want to have a sheet of goals, things that are priorities and goals for you. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay, so this is getting to the point where why I asked you to bring some paper and be prepared with your calendar. We're going to do a very quick exercise on block scheduling. Now, why is block scheduling a good idea? It's a good idea because you will begin to, again, that association, you will begin to block chunks of your day to do certain tasks and get them done. You know, if you have a full day ahead of you and you're like, somewhere in there, I'm going to do some calls and somewhere I'm going to do some marketing, you're going to miss those things. And those sometimes can be the most important things you need to do because you're going to end up just responding to emails, responding to phone calls, fire putting out, fire putting out, fire putting out. And then you're going to get to the end of the day and you will not have done what you want to do or what you need to do to begin to manage your own life. Because we could, all of us, if you're a professional, there's fires to put out, there's things that you need to do. If instead up front, you were very clear, this is the time I do this, and in this time I don't do anything else, you will begin to see that you're going to get things done because you've created the white space to do it. And then you're also going to learn that you say no in that time frame. You know, on Tuesdays, your best friend group is having lunch, but on Tuesdays at 12 o'clock, you're committed to a networking meeting. Well, it's a no. It sounds great. I'd love to have lunch with my girlfriends, but this is the time I set aside for networking. So this is the time that I have to say no. So I can have another lunch with my friends and I will have another lunch with my friends. But what will happen is I'll begin to say yes, 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 yes. And then I won't be doing networking and I won't be doing marketing and I won't be growing my business. I'll be putting out fires, taking care of clients, but I'm not planning for the future. And I'm putting off what I need to do for what I want to do. And I'm not going anywhere. In addition to block schedule, you want to schedule every day, hour by hour. Just, it can be on a piece of paper. This is the time I'm exercising. This is the time I'm working. This is the time I'm eating. This is the time I'm with family. You want to know what to leave in, what to leave out, and make sure you are scheduling breaks, lunch, social time, and fun time, because otherwise, why are we doing any of this, right? Okay, so we're going to practice. You're going to take out sheet number 1, and you're going to break it into 3 sections. This is just a mishmash of some things that I do, some things that other people do, just for you to understand. So you're going to actually, I don't have them here, but you're going to make 2 vertical lines so that you have a morning, afternoon, and evening. And you're going to start in morning. Under morning, you're going to list every single activity you ever possibly do in the morning. So if you only do it on Fridays, put it here. If you only do it once a month, put it here. This is going to track all of your activities that you do in the morning. So just take about a minute. And you can see it's wake up, you could brush teeth, walk the dog, get dressed, take your vitamins. It doesn't matter. You're just gonna free form write down everything you do in the morning. And like I said, take about a minute to do that. Look at my clock. And when you're ready, you don't have to take the whole minute. You want to go to afternoon, and then you want to go to evening. So just like I said, write it all down, all the random things you do. If you're on a board at your, like I was on my church council once every 2 months, you put it in there in the evening so that you can look at every commitment you have, everything you have to do each day, when you have to do it, and you can actually see it all out there. So I think I'm actually going to give you till 9:30. So we'll do 2 more minutes of this. And nobody's going to see it, so you can write anything you want. If in the evening you binge watch Netflix for 2 hours, be honest and put it down there because we're going to do an activity with it in a minute. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them.
Courtney, while they're doing this, there actually was a question. Lauren Middleton asked, have you heard of Panda Planner and do you think it is worth it?
I have not heard of Panda Planner. What I will say to you is the planner that's worth it is the planner you will use. And sometimes it's worth invest. I don't know how much this is. If it's more than $30, maybe not. Sometimes it's worth investing. Like I've tried many planners and I actually at different times use them. I do bullet journaling is awesome. I'm going to show you an exercise that the reason I like bullet journaling. And that's essentially a journal you make yourself. You create everything. You create the calendar and all of those pieces. The Happy Planner is my new favorite, but I haven't always used that. I'm trying to think. I've used productivity planners. I've used just whatever Staples has. I've used teacher planners because they have big places to write. But you want to think about your brain. For me, with the Happy Planner, because I can pop pages in and out, I have pockets. I can do all kinds of things, but I get to I just take January and I keep it there. And then I keep long-term goals right here. You want your goals front and center. And then I do, what do I have to get off the to-do list here? And then back here, I put, okay, these are things that don't go on my to-do list because they're too long-term, but I have to keep them in my brain. For example, I'm writing a book. So I need to know I want to write a chapter a day. So at certain points, I put that on my calendar. At certain times I don't. But again, what I love about this is I can just pop these pages in and back out. And then there's actually a calendar as well. So again, it's worth $1 million to you if you find a planner you'll actually use.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're at 9:30. So hopefully you've been able to take everything. This is a form of a brain dump. Everything in your brain that you have to do every day at different parts of the day or some days, and get them on paper. And we're going to go to the next thing. You probably don't have highlighters, so you don't have to do this now. But what I do is I then highlight in green are personal things: exercising, eating breakfast. In turquoise are my work things that I have to do. And in the purple, pink, magenta are actually layout clothes should be green, but they are the planning, preparation, moving the needle forward kinds of things. And then the gray is learning. So something you can do on your own, you can circle them, but giving yourself an idea. For example, if all of my blocks were turquoise, which they were at one point, and I wasn't doing anything, I was doing no self-care at all. I was brushing my teeth, showering every day, those kinds of things, but I wasn't exercising, or I was doing it sporadically. I wasn't scheduling family time. I wasn't scheduling meal prep. So it was a lot of eating on the go. So this kind of gives you an idea of where are you? And where do you need to make shifts? But this is the next thing. Take another 2 minutes, and next to everything you put down how long it's going to take you to do. It's kind of eye-opening. Because for example, if in the morning you have 24 hours worth of things to do, it's not working. So very important. And I didn't say this before, even if you're not doing it right now, but these are things you should be doing or want to be doing. I hate the word should, but that would help you. throw them in there. These are things you want to start doing in the morning, afternoon, or evening. Get them in there. Do until like 9:34. And I would say overestimate time, not underestimate time, which I used to be the queen of. Oh, this should take about 10 minutes. 2 hours later, I was running late for everything. Okay, we have about 1 more minute. And as you see, lunch with a friend, dinner with friends, and family outings, I don't really assign a time to, because who knows how long that's going to be, but I will do that when I put it in my calendar to schedule. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next piece, which is now you're going to block your schedule. So you're going to break your paper up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 across, and I think it's 5 down. Okay, so here's my technological genius. I'm going to finish the whole thing. You're going to chunk each day. You're going to block each day with different times. So I just did this. It was easy dividing: 6 to 10 in the morning, 10 to 2, 2 to 6, and 6 to 10. And then I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can do Saturday, Sunday. I usually do Saturday, Sunday, but I wanted to make this so you could actually read it. And then you're going to take that sheet that you just had, and you're going to take all of those things and put them in your calendar. But this is also an opportunity for you to start crossing things out. So if you're like, I can't possibly do all of these things, I can't fit them in anywhere and still have a life, and still breathe, then this is a good time to say, okay, well, why am I doing this? Why am I committed to this? Where is this helping me? And you can actually put a little negative next to anything that is just not really important to be doing right now. For example, when my daughter was younger, coaching was not going to be a possibility. I was taking care of her, running a law firm, and that was enough, right? So sort of a dream deferred, so that when I was in a position where she's more independent and I can devote more time to coaching clients and speaking without taking away from her. On the flip side with her, because she's now 15, it's much more important that I am home, that I know what's going on with her friends and her social media, which is very limited right now. And this is not the time for me to be traveling and speaking, which wouldn't be happening in the moment anyway, but would be starting up again probably in the fall. So it's looking at the rhythms of your life and what you're doing and why you're doing them, and only put in this schedule what has to get done that's going to get you to your why. What is your why? Remember, is it that I want to spend more time with my family? I want more time to relax. I want to go on vacation more. I want to make more money. Your schedule should reflect what your priorities are and should reflect your goals. Oops. Oh, I keep doing this. I apologize. Because I thought I saw a question, but I could be wrong.
I answered it. We're all set.
Okay. All right, so I'll give you another 2 minutes to do this, 2 to 3 minutes. And to save time, for example, you could put lunch on Monday and put an arrow through to Friday. And if you are seeing with your schedule that you don't have time for socializing or you don't have time for leisure, because just being by yourself is really important too, see where you can begin to start creating those blocks of time. Because again, what is the purpose of life if we're always running? If we're never engaged with the people we love, if we're always feeling guilty, like we're not doing something we're supposed to be doing, why are we here, right? We're here to commune with other people, to help each other out, to grow each other, to, we all have big dreams. We all have that big call in our lives. It's very important for some of you. Your day-to-day life is service. So you could be a plumber, but while you're a plumber, you're interacting with people, people who maybe haven't seen a lot of people lately because of COVID. So you're engaging people, you're helping them out. It doesn't matter what your career is. That's not even the point. It's how are you doing your career? How are you showing up? Who are you being? And is this in line with who you want to be? Do you want to be the person who always keeps their word, who's always there on time, who everybody can count on? I have this lecture with my daughter all the time. At 15, they just don't see the point of that. You keep your word, you be a person of honor, you be the person that nobody questions. As an attorney, I am known in the field as being fairly aggressive because I represent children with disabilities, and I also do estate planning. But I'm also known as extremely honest. So even if I've made an error in a calculation or something, the other attorney will always say, well, it's Courtney, and I know she would have never done that intentionally. And I worked very hard to cultivate that. So people know that I do what I say I'm going to do, never changes. I'm very honest. I'm very committed. And that's very important to me, to be a woman of my word. Not that I don't make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's what I aim to do every single day. Okay, so hopefully you have an idea of what you have to do each day and what you want to do each day. Hopefully you have an idea of how much time it all takes. And hopefully you have a schedule now where you can see that you can actually get things done. And you can get them done consistently, and you can give yourself some space. And you can also see if you cannot do that, that something needs to change. It could be that your career is such that your work schedule is crazy. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you have to do. If you schedule it, you will be able to get it done. And if you don't schedule it, it will be torture for you. Again, if I'm doing a brief that takes 40 hours and I'm still dealing with clients every day and marketing for new clients and, taking my daughter to cheer, I have to schedule that so that the brief doesn't get dropped or my daughter's cheer doesn't get dropped. I have to make it so black and white that I can see everything. And I also can see where I'm going to be in trouble. So I can see where I have to go, oh gosh, I have to get my mother to pick up my daughter that night because I just got asked to do a speaking engagement that I really want to do. I will tell you, during COVID, I said no to most things. I said no to some really great opportunities because during COVID, my focus had to be on my law practice and making sure I was generating enough business to pay my staff. So it really just depends on where you are in each season. We're not a victim of every ask that comes our way. We are in control. And it took me a really long time to learn that. Okay. So then I said, in the beginning, not only do you want to block your schedule, that's your big block. So this is your template, right? This is not the thing that you're putting in everything, like tomorrow I've got to go to get the oil change, right? This is just your template of this is what has to be done within these blocks. So yes, an oil change will come along. Okay, which block am I going to put it in? Do I want to create a block that is do tasks outside of the office, whatever it is. But this is your template. But then every day, at the end of the day, you want to create a schedule for the very next day. And you want to have everything in front of you. You want to have your calendar, your phone calendar in front of you. You want to have your to-do list in front of you. And you want to block off. I do it in these 45-minute increments and half-hour increments because this is the actual time it's going to take me to do things. You can do anything you want, but I know I have to get up at 6 a.m. to get done the things I want to do for myself so that I'm ready for the workday. I know if I get up at 5 or 5:30, I can get even more done. And I know that without a solid morning routine, I'm going to burn myself out. I'm not going to take care of myself, and my priority is going to be all out of whack. I also know if I want to get up at 5 or 6, I have to be in bed by 10. So you kind of reverse engineer your whole day. And so this is just a sample day for me that I just threw out there of things that I wanted to do in that particular day. And I follow the schedule. So today I had to get up extra early to do some personal tasks. We're planning a vacation. I had BNI at 8 o'clock this morning. It's a networking group. I had to let the president know last week that I was going to be leaving a little bit early because I had this talk starting at 9. At 10:15, I have my next meeting. 11 o'clock, I have my next meeting. I had to do this PowerPoint last week so that I would be ready for today. So that was in my last week's schedule. So none of this stressed me out. None of this is overwhelming. It's all planned. It's all accounted for. You can do that for anything. Because I remember the day I heard this, I'm sure you've all heard this. I have the same 24 hours that Oprah Winfrey has, Bill Gates has, Elon Musk has, right? The only difference between me and them, especially when I first started this journey, is that I wasted most of my day and they plan and prioritize most of their day. That's really, and obviously billions of dollars. That's also the difference between me and them. But that's never been my life goal. But do they have more talent than any of you? No, they don't. You are all smart and capable. You wouldn't be in the seminar if you weren't. You wouldn't take the time to learn about time management. You wouldn't be bettering yourself. You are just as smart and capable as anybody. The difference is you just need to learn how to prioritize your life, schedule your day, and give yourself time to dream, to be creative, to breathe. It's very important. Okay. We talked in the beginning about vertical planning, and I'm just checking time. I talked a little bit about the bullet journal. So a bullet journal, you can YouTube it, and you can end up in a YouTube rabbit hole. So be careful because there's a billion videos. But essentially, you set it up. It's just paper with a bunch of dots on it, kind of like graph paper, but just with dots. And you take your ruler and you put like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for March. But you start off with this vertical plan. So I just did a couple of days. So you list the days of the month, 1 through 28, 1 through 31, whatever it is. Then you put next to the number, the letter of the day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then you look at your calendar. And again, this isn't where you put everything. This is where you put the things that are atypical that you need to prepare for. So I just made all of this up. I don't have any of these things on my calendar, but I have in the past. So for example, my daughter's school had a food drive. So I knew that I had to pay attention to that because it wasn't a daily task. So it wouldn't have stayed in my head. So I had to highlight it in my calendar. And then I had to reverse engineer. Well, for her to bring food on Monday, at least the Sunday, if not earlier before, I would have had to purchase the food, get it in a bag for her to take. Aunt Mary's birthday party is on the 6th. Well, then I know at least as of the 5th or the morning of the 6th, I'm going to have to pick up a card and gift for Aunt Mary. On the 10th, soccer starts. Well, can't start soccer. My daughter did soccer years ago. You need the shin pads, you need the shoes, you need the shorts, you need everything. You can't just show up at soccer without all of the pieces. Me 6 years ago, oh my God, it's a food drive. What do we have in our pantry? Oh, it's Aunt Mary's birthday party. Oh my God, we got to run. We got to get a gift. And then it's not a thoughtful gift. Soccer starting. Oh my God, where am I going to get shin guards? So everything was like, oh my God. It's like every day it occurred to me I had something to do that I had in my calendar. And had I just taken the time to look in advance, it would have been no big deal. Everything would have been taken care of. So do a vertical plan of your entire month. Put on it anything, vacation, anything you have to prepare for. And then you put, I put tax, sorry, I made a misspelling. On the other side, you put the tasks that you need to do once you've looked at that calendar. It's right there. This goes in your, not only your to-do list, but this goes directly in your calendar. If Aunt Mary's birthday party is on the 6th, then on the 4th, you're going to schedule in the middle of the day, whenever it is, that you're going to go to the Hallmark store or Joann's or whatever that Aunt Mary wants, or even get her a gift card. It doesn't matter, but it's going to be in your schedule and then it's going to be done. And again, this sounds somewhat rigid and restrictive, but what ends up happening is you get to the end of the day and you're like, wow, I kind of did everything I said I was going to do. And then at the end of that day, you plan for the next day. You plan for the next day, you plan for the next day. Every Sunday, you plan for the week, because it is important to not only be looking one day ahead. You can miss a lot of things. Every Sunday, you're looking at your vertical plan, you're looking at your big to-do list, you're looking at the week ahead. Things may have come up. Like I said, you may, oh gosh, I forgot I have an oil change. Where am I going to put it in there? So you're not, 2,000 miles over your oil change praying that your car doesn't break down, or you're not having to skip something important to do something that's it's important, but it's not life altering to get your oil changed. This was the best life lesson. I teach this no matter who calls me to talk for any topic. Become a master at saying no. Be very clear. We've been talking about this over and over. Know your goals, know your priority. So your goals are, I want to be physically fit. I want to have a thriving business. I want to pay off debt. I want to spend more time with family. I want to be a better friend. You can write down your goals. You should write down your goals. You should review your goals. Like I said, I have them right in my planner. And then your priorities are what are your values? What do you value? For me, my priorities are God, family, friends, work, because I think my work is important. And those are my real big priorities. So if somebody asks me to do something and it doesn't fit in with any of my priorities, even if it's a great opportunity, it's going to have to be a no, because otherwise then I'm taking away from my life priority. So again, something could be a great offer or a great ask, but it's actually going to do more harm than good, because every yes comes with a no to something else that's at the bottom. Every time you say yes to anything, you're saying no to something else. As simple as every time you buy a new TV or a new outfit, you're saying no to some freedom, because you're going to have to work harder to make that money, right? Every time you say yes to unhealthy eating, you're taking away from yourself your time, because you're going to have to work out harder. Like every yes is a no somewhere else. Every invitation you accept, you're going to have to take something out of your calendar, and it really can't be something that you prioritize. And have a go-to response. I am the queen of saying no. I say no to anything and everything that doesn't fit my priorities. And I say yes to some really big things. I do some really not hard, but very time-consuming volunteer opportunities, because I realize that when I'm not volunteering, I feel a little more empty. It's a call to me. So, but I'm very clear that I only volunteer for things that fit my priorities or fit what I think I'm called to do. So for a long time, I was on the library board in my town, which I loved, and I loved the people, and it was wonderful, but it's not a passion of mine. And I don't know that I added enough to the group that they would have missed me when I was gone. I mean, I was like, oh, I can't drop off. They're wonderful. But I had to, because I had to make space for something that really was much more in line with what I was called to do. And then I'm giving an opportunity to somebody else who really is passionate about the library, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful thing, and our library is the hub of our town, but it just wasn't really the kind of thing that was going to get me to where I want to ultimately go in my life, which is to start a women's center and to do all these different things. So I very much only say yes to things that will get me where I need to go, or I want to go. Sorry, I'm taking up a lot of time. I don't want to leave without saying the items on the next two slides. Distractions will destroy your life, destroy your dreams. It sounds dramatic, but it's true. These phones will literally rob you of your joy and your freedom. In your brain, every time you get a new email, even if it's good, if it's bad, if it's nothing, it's like a dopamine hit. And then your brain keeps craving those dopamine hits. So they literally make these phones addictive. You throw in social media, highly addictive and almost compulsive. You can end up, switching between Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, your email, and you're talking about that decision fatigue. Your brain gets fatigued, your eyes get fatigued. Most of the time, you don't really feel great after you're looking at it. It's not always super filling to watch these things. And now you've lost time from your priorities and your goals. take your social media apps off your phone. I'm just gonna advise you to do that. It was the best decision I made. Maybe take a break from social media, unless you really need it for marketing your business, or it's the only way you're in touch with certain parts of your family. But then schedule the time you're going to allow yourself to be on social media. Only do it on your computer, for example. Don't have it on your phone. And be very, very strict. Actually put it, you know how you can set alarms in your phone? You can set a 1 o'clock alarm. This is when I check Facebook, and that's it. Or do that reward system. Okay, when I go to the gym, which I've been putting off, I'm gonna be on the treadmill or on the bike, and I'm gonna get to check Instagram and Facebook. So it's like attaching that reward to get you to do something, but then that's the only time that you do it. Schedule the time to look at emails, look at YouTube. YouTube is my weakness because I love learning. Create calm environments, set boundaries with your staff and colleagues. Maybe you change environments, like I like the coffee shop. Turn off all the alerts on your phone, and especially your computer. I have no alerts on my computer. It's distracting for me too when I'm on, and I apologize, that's my dog. Speaking of distracting, it's distracting for me if I'm on a call with somebody or a Zoom and their alerts are going off. You know, it's crazy. I've just now lost what you were telling me, and it could have been something really important. So turn off all your alerts. We really don't need them. You know, you have to check your email. You know, you're gonna check your email. You don't need your email to tell you every time, you know, somebody's trying to sell you something, which is a lot of the emails that we get. Make sure all your environments are clean and organized. Brain dump daily. Get everything in your head out on paper. And this is the probably the most important thing. Be disciplined. Be a disciplined person. Be the person who does what you say you're going to do. Take care of your health, exercise every day, eat healthy foods, relax, sleep. These are, you know, you've heard this a million times, but this is your game changer right here. How can you live a full life if you're not taking care of your body? How could you expect your car to drive if you either gave it no gas and no oil, or you gave it really cheap stuff, right? That's what we're doing to ourselves. We're saying yes, 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 doing more and more and more, but we're not giving ourselves the opportunity to be strong enough to do the things that we need and want to do. So get that exercise plan, get that diet plan. And I don't mean like a lose weight diet, but what's important to me? Am I going to cut out processed foods? Am I going to cut out refined carbs? Am I going to cut out sugar? Am I going to lower my caffeine? Am I going to cut alcohol? People freak out when I say that, but I haven't drank any alcohol in 6 years. And I can tell you, I have more fun than anybody at a party. Trust me. And I never have a hangover, and I'm not full of sugar and calories. You don't have to give up alcohol, but for me, I just found it was taking away from my life. It wasn't adding to it. And I'm very, as strict as I am about what goes in my calendar, I'm strict about what goes in my mouth, what goes in my eyes. So I only watch certain things. I only listen to certain things. I really don't watch TV. And I get good sleep every chance that I can. You know, obviously sometimes that's not a possibility, but the majority of the time I get my probably about 8 hours of sleep a night. So be scheduled, be disciplined, have a strong morning, afternoon, evening routine, do what you say you're going to do, and make sure you're finding plenty of time to relax and connect to make all of this worth it. These are just some systems. People always ask me about systems. These are some systems I have tried. There's a million systems. I also have case management systems for law clients and things like that, but that really only applies to lawyers. I have tried Asana. It is not for me. I am an out of sight, out of mind person. So I need kind of everything in front of me. I don't have ADHD, but I have that kind of brain. So if it's not all very clearly in front of my eyes, it's as if it didn't exist. I like Trello because you can do that. You can actually set your boards all up so you can see everything. There's something called Artful Agenda. It's literally an online planner. It's so plain and basic, and it's so wonderful. So like every day you can just put all your to-dos in. If I don't use the Happy Planner, I'm using the Artful Agenda, just depending on where I am. Evernote is my saving grace because you can snap a picture. You know, you have that business card and you have to call Mary Jane next week. And then you're like, oh my God, where's that business card? What did I do? You take a picture of it. It gets lost in your picture roll. You can put it right in Evernote, notes to yourself, and it's all right there. and the to-do app I'm starting to use. I think it's a really good idea. I'm using it for groceries pretty much right now. But I love anything where you can put it in and you can check it off and watch it be checked off. There's like a huge satisfaction in checking things off for me. So I'm always looking for that. And I have about 2 minutes. So we talked about this in the beginning. You can't live the life you're called to live if you're not in control of your time and schedule. Always remember, who do I want to be? And who does that, what would that person do in this situation? And then I guess I'm going to ask if there's any questions. I threw a lot at you.
Excellent job, Courtney. Great stuff. Great information. We do have a question from Meg Bush. I am in the hospitality wedding business, which means my schedule and my staff, who are also on this call, is constantly changing based upon weekly events. What do you recommend that will give my calendar some flexibility while maintaining a sensible amount of routine?
Okay. So my schedule changes every day. So I have 2 businesses, 3 actually, if you count the speaking. And things are constantly changing. What I do is I build that into my week. So I do make sure, for example, Mondays are a day that it's my catch up. I'm not scheduling appointments. I'm not scheduling calls on those days and that day. Very, very important. And then every day for me looks different, but my blocks are pretty much the same. My morning block is my when I have to do calls, when I have to do focus time. My afternoon block is not calls, sorry. The morning block is when I have to do focus time projects. I'll check emails. I'll do any learning. My afternoon blocks are when I'm doing calls, when I'm doing Zoom meetings or in-person meetings. So I try to create a rhythm. And it may be that every Sunday you reset your blocks for that week. What you want to make sure is that as soon as you know who the new staff is, what the new project is, what the new event that you're doing, you set it up that week. You're just not going to be the type of person who's like, every Monday I do this and every Tuesday I do that. You're going to be the person that as soon as you get that new information, you redo your blocks, but you know for the next 5 days what it's going to look like. And you do all the same things we talked about. Like, okay, if I'm getting new staff on Wednesday and there's a new event on Friday, but Friday night I have a birthday party, I still have to buy the gift by Monday.
Yeah, those are great suggestions because I tend to be that last minute, oh, I need to buy that card on the way to wherever I'm going. So, and I appreciate what you said about email because I know that we're all being very overwhelmed by email. So making a priority to check an email or time to respond is great. We did get another question pop up. I am a single mother and barely get help with my 2-year-old, especially with COVID. He can be very unpredictable. Do you have any suggestions on how to prioritize my time with him?
Prioritize, if I can just do a follow-up, prioritize your time to have time with him or prioritize your time to do work while you have him? I guess that's what I need to know. And
I think she's saying he can be unpredictable.
Yeah.
2-year-olds can, that's for sure. Is she just asking suggestions on how to prioritize my time with him to do work while I have him?
Got it.
I guess
Okay.
what she's looking for.
All right. So it is COVID, so this may not work for you, but sometimes you can find people to swap with. Like, I'll take your kid on Wednesdays if you take my kid on Thursdays. The other thing is the systems you're creating for yourself, you can create for a 2-year-old. And you do want to, trust me, I didn't do that with my daughter and I've had to do that in her teen years. So you do want a routine for him that he knows what to expect and when to do it. Yes, they are highly unpredictable, but yet they are very predictable, which is when you say no, they have tantrums, right? When you say yes, they're happy. I did it. I started my law practice when my own law practice when my daughter was young. And again, it's just either finding help within your community or you just create it, when there's nap time, that's your power through time. I got to get stuff done. You look at a typical week. Okay, what really goes on, right? Sometimes you can let a 2-year-old have a tantrum and they're safe and they're warm and you can put in headphones and you can get some work done because they just have tantrums, right? And then, structure the day. Like I said, get a highly stimulating activity for him that will occupy some time and know that that's the time you do the work time. The most important thing I can say to you is you're a single mother with a 2-year-old. So show yourself inordinate grace. huge grace. It may be that you work when he goes to bed. Make sure though you're taking care of yourself, because that's number one, because he's 2. You're going to have him at least till he's 18, right? Make sure you're doing a ton of self-care. You're giving yourself a ton of grace. Didn't get anything done today, but my son got loved on. That's actually a great day. So.
No, all great suggestions. Okay, guys, while we have Courtney, any last minute questions? I know she threw a lot at you. We will be sharing these slides with you after. Danielle Lee will be sending these to you. So you'll get some great resources. There was a great thank you great session from a Jane Colby. And Lauren Middleton said Trello is the best. So there's a great recommendation there too. So we'll be sending this out to you. Oh, let's see, I think we have one more. Oh, Stephanie said, this is awesome. I could listen to her all day.
Oh, thank you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes,
All
absolutely.
right.
If anybody has any questions for me, it's courtneypspeaks@gmail.com is my personal email. You can also email Joanna or Danielle, and they'll get a hold of me. And yes, I will share my slides. And I just wish you all the best. You know what? You're all doing amazing. You showed up today. That's huge. I was joking. I'm like, I wonder how many people have good enough time management to show up for the seminar they signed up for, because I used to be the queen of that one. So y'all showed up. You're amazing. You're here to do amazing things. Just keep it up. And I so wish you the best of luck.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Courtney. We appreciate you being here again. Everybody have a great day, and we'll send that email out and with Courtney's contact information as well. All right, be safe, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye, Courtney. Thanks.
You're welcome.